Fox News hosts have been losing their minds over the Luigi fever that has caught the internet by storm. Let's just say that they have definitely cemented their status as state TV propaganda of the Trump authoritarian regime.
We'll dig into it later. The Instagram posts from nutbag people, which I was sent in the commercial break earlier, crazy. Like, he's cute, and people celebrating this. This is a sickness. Honestly, it's so disappointing, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And up next, the other big news out of New York, Daniel Penny. A lot of people think he's a hero, and tonight he's not guilty. My take next.
Okay, Luigi fans are nutbags, but Daniel Penny is a hero. Okay, Laura Ingraham. My name is Suri Crowe, and you are watching the MeidasTouch Network. Let's get into it. Ever since police arrested Luigi Mangione for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, the internet has been burning for the smarty pants scion of a wealthy Italian Baltimore family. Luigi memes and Luigi merch have been flooding social media and e-commerce zones.
Street art in Seattle depicts Mario Brothers video game character Luigi and a crossed-out United Healthcare logo referencing Luigi Mangione. The suspect in the killing of United Health executive Brian Thompson has become an unsettling mixture of folk hero, celebrity, and online crush in certain circles. His support has only seemingly intensified since his arrest. Some websites are selling Mangione merchandise, while more than 1,000 donations have poured into an online fundraiser for his legal defense, with messages supporting him and even celebrating the crime.
And one of those celebrating is former Washington Post reporter Taylor Loren, who set the internet on fire when she told Piers that she felt joy that millionaire health insurance executives are facing payback.
This issue of Brian Thompson, one of the top healthcare executives in the country, I'm just curious why your first reaction would be to his cold-blooded execution. And people wonder why we want these executives dead. And then you later commented when people were giving you a lot of blowback, I'm not alone, you said. Healthcare executive down with party balloons was on a next post that you commented on. Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Thousands of Americans that being murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
Well, why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the system.
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving healthcare from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix the system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time. You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something...
Have you been denied life-saving treatment?
The idea that I would view it as something joyful, that a man who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre. Let me bring in Tommy here. Yeah. Tommy, I keep being told.
Way,
hang on, Taylor. I'll come back to you.
Okay, don't say I'm joyful. I said you said you were feeling joyful. Yeah, I take that back. Joyful is the wrong word, Piers.
You think?
But I said, as I clarified,
you think? Yeah. You think joyful is the wrong word? Yeah.
Sure.
I'd say it is.
Vindicated, celebratory, because again, it feels like justice in this system when somebody responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans suffers the same fate as those tens of thousands of Americans who he murdered.
Well, Fox host Dana Perino took that opportunity to push MAGA propaganda for repealing Obamacare, which is also known as the Affordable Care Act, by pretending that universal health care is a terrible idea.
I think that it's disgusting how some people say, oh, this is because of the insurance industry. You check yourself on that, especially if you're on the left. And how do you think we ended up in a place where there is less competition and fewer good products in the insurance industry? It is messed up. I agree. But that's not because people weren't suggesting a better way. If you think socialized medicine is a better way, knock yourself out. Yeah. Go to Canada and try to find a specialist. Go to VA. Go to Scotland. Go to England. It is a disaster. Right. And you can end up with, let's say, an elderly woman like my late stepmother-in-law has a UTI, can't get attention. 18 weeks go by. And this woman couldn't get care. And you think that that's better? And I can understand how frustrated people get on all sides of the thing. But when you say that healthcare is a right, as Bernie Sanders did today, he said he disagreed with the violence, but he said, but he's showing us what people come to know, that healthcare is a right. Okay. If you believe that, how are you paying for it?
By the way, America, which is the only developed nation in the world that doesn't have universal health care, has the most expensive healthcare costs and ranks last among wealthy nations for healthcare outcomes. In other words, Americans are sicker and have shorter lifespans compared to other wealthy nations. So, Dana, you are wrong. Canada and other European nations are doing much better than we are and at much lower costs than Americans. And let's talk about Daniel Penny, who was acquitted of killing Jordan Neely, who was a black homeless man on a New York subway. Penny was recently celebrated by MAGA by hanging out with incoming President Trump and J.D. Vance at the Army-Navy game. But back over at Fox News, the hosts were hair on fire over the Luigi love that Mangione is getting. And The Daily Show captured the utter hypocrisy of the propaganda network with a mashup of their Luigi outrage spliced with their celebration of another MAGA vigilante killer, Kyle Rittenhouse. Take a look.
Let's get loud for Kyle Rittenhouse.
Murder, assassination, vigilantism. It's wrong, it's evil, it's despicable. There's no hero. Cheering for the murder of an unarmed man is beyond sick.
For anyone that sympathizes and empathizes with a murderer, that is completely upside down in our American society. There are people that need to reevaluate their inner soul and their moral compass. Yeah. There is nothing acceptable to me about that.
Wackos are treating suspected killer as a folk hero. Actual praise for the murder itself.
To sympathize with them, it's just disgusting.
You know, they have a Bonnie and Clyde syndrome in the DSM-V4 in psychiatric treatment, and that's when some people are enamored by criminals.
You don't have the right to go out and kill somebody and take, vigilante justice into your hands. So I think it's really disturbing to people across the country as they tune in and hear, people excited and saying there's joy from this. I think it's really concerning.
I guess it really depends on what color the person is and whose story they are telling over at Fox News. Here's what AOC had to say about Luigi Mangione's elevation into a folk hero.
So we take a step back. This is not to comment, and this is not to say that an act of violence is justified. But I think for anyone who is confused or shocked or appalled, they need to understand that people interpret and feel and experience denied claims as an act of violence against them. People go homeless over the financial devastation of of a diagnosis that doesn't get addressed, or, you know, the amount that they're going to have to cover with a surprise bill and things like that. And when we kind of talk about how systems are violent in this country, in this passive way, our privatized healthcare system is like that for a huge amount of Americans. I mean, I did not have health insurance until I got elected to Congress.
And whether you agree with this statement or not, I found this post very interesting. One person with a pistol just shook the ruling class more than decades of peaceful organizing. Makes you think, doesn't it? Just what will it take to change America's broken healthcare system, especially as we face an incoming administration that is promising to cut healthcare coverage even more so? Please put your thoughts and comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about all of this. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Suri Crowe. Peace.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.